Let's jump right into a really provocative idea. What if one of the most basic beliefs we all share, the idea that something is deeply wrong with the world, is actually a kind of poison? What if we're all, in a way, suffering from a kind of metaphysical intoxication?
Just think about that for a second. We spend so much of our energy trying to fix things, right? To make the world better, to perfect it. But what if that very first assumption, that the world is fundamentally flawed to begin with, is the real source of all the struggle? Let's dig into this powerful and maybe even dangerous idea.
So, the framework we're exploring today gives this widespread problem a pretty striking name: Vulgar Satanism. Now hold on before you jump to any conclusions. Let's break down what that actually means here.
The key word here is vulgar. It's not being used to mean something crude or gross. It's using the word's original meaning, of the common people. So this isn't some edgy fringe belief system. Nope. It's the default setting, the almost universal assumption that the world we're all living in is broken right out of the box. So why is this belief so incredibly powerful? Why does it feel so undeniably true, no matter who you are or where you come from? Well, the answer is pretty simple. It seems to match our direct experience of reality. I mean, on one hand, you see all the problems humans create, like social injustice, and you just think, yeah, this is obviously not right. But the argument here is that this intoxication, this poison, goes way deeper than that. It really comes from the unavoidable facts of life: sickness, aging, and eventually death. These are the things that convince us, usually from a very young age, that the entire system must be flawed.
And that's where the real danger lies. This core belief, this gut feeling that we live in an imperfect world, is what's described as the poison. It just seeps into our lives, and it can rob us of joy and acceptance. It fundamentally shifts our perception of everything around us.
Okay, so if that's the poison, then what's the antidote? This philosophy introduces a pretty radical new way of looking at the world, but it requires us to make a very, very precise distinction. And this right here is the crucial pivot. The idea isn't to just deny that bad things happen, not at all. It's to completely reframe how we think about them. It's all about separating the blueprint of the world from the messy reality we see playing out every single day.
This is the absolute core of the whole idea. You have to separate the world's system, its fundamental rules like freedom and consequence, from its state, which is the current situation on the ground. The model argues that the system, the deep-down design, is perfect. The state we're in, though, yeah, that can be, and often is, very non-ideal.
And here's why that distinction is such a game changer. If you accept that the world's system is already perfect, then trying to make it perfect is a fool's errand. It's a paradox. You end up on this endless, frustrating quest to achieve something that, at a foundational level, is already complete. And that, right there, is supposedly the source of so much of our suffering.
This, of course, leads to the big question. If the system is so perfect, why is our reality, the state of the world, so messy and non-ideal so much of the time? Well, this philosophy explains that through the lens of a huge metaphysical conflict. So in this view, our reality isn't some static, finished product. It's a dynamic battleground. It's the result of a constant cosmic tug-of-war between two fundamental, opposing forces that have very different ideas about how the universe should run.
On one side, you have the creator. Its core principle is absolute freedom. Do whatever you want, but every single action has a consequence, what a lot of people might call karma. On the other side, you have the anti-creator. It looks at all this freedom and chaos and says, whoa, this is insufficiently reasonable. It's too unpredictable. So this force is always trying to impose restrictions, add rules, and take control to make the world more rational. Our non-ideal reality is the result of their never-ending clash.
So that brings us to us. Where do humans fit in all of this? Well, this model identifies our true flaw. And it's not that we're evil. It's something far more common and maybe even more destructive.
To really drive this point home, the argument pulls from the famous novel The Master and Margarita, which argues that the worst human sin of all is cowardice. But what does cowardice mean in this big metaphysical picture?
We're not talking about physical bravery here. In this model, cowardice is about metaphysical indecision. It's the refusal to commit. It's trying to play both sides in this cosmic conflict between freedom and control. It's saying, well, I want a little of this and a little of that, without ever taking a firm stand. So we're presented with two really clear choices. Option 1,
You can align with the Creator. That means you embrace freedom and you accept full personal responsibility for the consequences. Option 2, you align with the anti-creator. You agree that the system is broken and that the only solution is more control. The argument is that trying to live in that wishy-washy middle ground without really choosing, that is the true source of our inner conflict and misery.
So there's the diagnosis. We're metaphysically intoxicated by this idea that the world is broken, and our indecision keeps us trapped. The big question then is, how do we detoxify? Well, this philosophy offers a pretty clear, actionable path forward.
The entire process, the whole detoxification, begins with one single, powerful mental shift. This first step is absolutely the most important one, and it just requires you to consciously abandon one core toxic idea. That's it. It all starts right here. You make a conscious decision to stop believing that the fundamental system of the world is flawed. You accept the premise of a perfect design, even when the current state of things is messy. That's the key that unlocks everything else.
And from that one starting point, the path becomes pretty simple. First, you recognize the conflict. You start to see events in the world as part of that clash between freedom and control. Second, you act where you can. If you see a non-ideal situation and you can actually do something to improve it, then you take concrete action. You don't just complain about it. And third, and this is a big one, you enjoy your being. If a situation is truly beyond your control, you stop fighting it in your mind and you just enjoy your existence without judgment.
And that's what we want to leave you with today. If you were to try on this model, just for a day, and believe that the system is perfect, but it's filled with non-ideal situations, what's one concrete thing, something actually within your reach, that you could do today to improve one of those non-ideal parts? That's a powerful question to think about. Thanks for tuning in.